Y'all know what time it is. Alright. Shake these jitters off. We got a good live going on today. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing okay. What's up? What's up? I got one view. What's popping? What's going on? And we out here. I'll make sure we in good space. What's going on? What's happening, Uncle Bernard? How you doing? It's popping. All right. I'm going to go start in about 30 more seconds. Just let some people come up in here. We got a good live going on today. Going on tonight. I got a full moon going on tonight. I think full moon in Libra. So diplomacy, new beginnings. And, whenever the moon is full, it's very weak. So if you may be feeling tired, lethargic today, whenever you experience a full moon, it's always wise to, kind of take it easy on them days and everything. Don't do too much. But we about to get into this live, though. So tonight, we're going to be talking about spirit guides, ascended masters, numerology, human history, origins, the origins of human history, and what I like to call the sacrificial lamb is really the goat. All right. So let's start off with the spirit guides. All right. Cool. Shout out to the subconscious community. Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. What's going on? What's poppin'? Hey, Miss Yule, how you doing? What's going on? All right. So, spirit guides, who and what are they? All right, and this is coming from the Sacred Scribes of Joanne. Joanne Sacred Scribes. You can find this on the internet. Just type in Joanne. That is Joanne, Sacred Scribes. She is a light worker and a light worker. Hey, how you doing, young big? Hey, I'm doing all right. Doing good. Holding in the road. Trying to do something different. So, Joanne, she is a light worker. She advocates spirituality. She gives number readings and talks about spirit guides, ascended masters, and everything that's esoteric knowledge. But today I'm just going to touch on a few of those, spirit guides, ascended masters, and numerology. And we're going to be starting off with the spirit guides. So spirit guides, who and what are they? Each one of us has a spirit guide, someone we are very close to and trusted with our soul on the other side. Our spirit guides who agreed to be our constant, vigilant companion and helpmate when we made the choice to experience another lifetime on Earth. These are our best friends we have ever had. Spirit guides and all transcendent spirits are either male or female. All spirit guides have spent at least one lifetime on Earth, and because of this, they are able to empathize with the mistakes, problems, fears, temptations, and all the frailties we encounter in the human world. Because of your relationship with your spirit guide, because your relationship with your spirit guide was formed between your spirit and theirs on the other side before you were born, it is impossible for them to be someone you've known in this lifetime. The spirits are all around us everywhere. Though these companions cannot be seen, they can be felt. Sometimes it's that voice in your head telling you not to do something or telling you to do something. It might be a dream you have giving you a message about things you should do. Spirit guide sends you messages, often through your subconscious mind and dreams. What you have always accepted as instincts or your conscious or unusually vivid dreams are your spirit guides sending you messages. In addition to mapping out our blueprints before we come here, we make sacred contracts with entities on the other side to watch over us, protect us, help, and advise us through earthly journeys we have chosen to undertake. The intimate of these advisors help us to conceive and review our blueprint with us, and it is at our side every step of the way. This is our spirit guide. The spirit guide's job is to urge, encourage, nudge, support, advise, and guide us on our life paths to aid, assist, help, protect, and guide you with your spiritual development, and to serve as a source of inspiration and insight. Spirit guides can be helpful as you face difficult challenges and obstacles in your life, no matter what they may be. Let go of any fears or concerns of lack or loss or anything negative, and have faith that your needs will be met and you are well loved and protected in all ways. So basically, your spirit guides are a spirit, because remember, we are all spirits, and a spirit is no thing. You're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your your sexuality, you're not your gender, you're not your preference or anything. A spirit is no thing, and your spirit is everlasting. It can't die, and it's formless, it's shapeless. So before we come here, because we've been here before here on earth, eons and eons, we've been repeating this type of lifestyle over and over again, trying to learn the lesson, trying to understand what it takes to get to heaven. And you can understand what you're here to do looking into your natal chart. And your natal chart is your astrology chart. Typing in your birthday, a lot of us, we can see it at a mundane level, and it's a relatively speaking, that, okay, yeah, I'm a Leo, but I have a Venus, I have a Mars, I have a Mercury, I have a whole solar system within me. So within that, you would see your North Node, and your North Node is attributed to what you're here to do, what you're here to learn. So before you come here on earth, you have these spirits, and you make these contracts, and you make these deals that, listen, I need you to help me out before I come here on earth. And they agree. So when you come here on earth, you don't have any knowledge, you don't have any recollection of what has happened. But you always feel that, okay, I feel alone. I feel lonely, but I'm never alone type of thing. If that type of, if that dialogue makes sense. But yeah, spirit guides are just people, are just spirits that's looking over you, watching over you, always supporting you, and always giving you type of insight. So if you ever had a dream that you remembered, and it had a type of metaphorical meaning to it, or something that was like, okay, this is what that meant, and this is what I need to change. That was your spirit guide that inhibited that dream, saying that, listen, we need to do something different because you're getting off your track, and then you need to be on your divine track. Or it can be confirmation to say that, yes, you're on the right track. And confirmation to say that you're on the right track is AKA deja vu. So whenever you may experience deja vu, that's something in your blueprint that says, listen, when I'm 13, I need to have this right here as a signpost to say that I'm on the right track. When I turn 15, I need this and this to say that I'm on the right track. So whenever you experience deja vu, it kind of comes in like, man, I've seen this before, And that's because of the contracts and the conversations and the dialogue that you had with your spirit guide. Now, your spirit guide can resonate with the pain and thing that you go through, which is different from angels. See, angels, they're here to serve you. A lot of us, we pray to the angels, but you were made in God's image. And out of God's first creation was the angels. But you are God. God is in you. God is you. So with that being said, the angels are here to serve you and your well-being. And they don't know what it means to be on earth. They don't know what it means to have, because we're in a dense realm, So whenever we talk about dimensions and its 9 dimensions, this right here is solid. But the 4th dimension, this right here is light. It's a lighter aspect. So my hand probably could go through this table. And then the 5th is a lighter aspect. And just as well, your thoughts manifest a lot quicker in higher dimensions too as well. So now we're in this 3rd dimension. Our thoughts manifest fast, but they manifest to the point where it's not as fast. It's to the point that we can practicalize and we can experience what we're here to experience. And me and my brother Marcus, we had a great conversation a couple days back. And he was, I was like, every day is an uphill battle, Marcus. Why is it that every doggone day uphill battle? It'll feel like, life not letting up. And it says that, God is totality. And God had to say that, if I'm the all be all, then there it is. There's the end of the movie. It's like you turn on the movie and then you just hit the credits because, granted, all be all, boom, hit the credits. God had to have this movie. He had to have us play out in this realm of reality for us to experience ourselves. So if I told you that, okay, you're a healer, and then boom, like, okay, I'm a healer, I already know what I'm here to do and everything, it's no experience in that. It's more so you can attribute your ego to that because I gave you the title of a healer rather than you finding out yourself, rather than you finding out what it means to be a healer, rather you finding out how it feels to be a healer, or what it takes to be a healer, you know? So your spirit guides are just entities and spirits that were once inhabited in this earth, which is great because they can relate to you. They can relate to the pain. They can relate to the hardships, and they watch over you. And this may be your ancestors. This may be, say, a lifetime ago, a daughter of yours or a son of yours, or maybe a wife or maybe a husband. It may be a spirit that, you know, they may have transcended to the fourth dimension, but you had to do this over again. And, you know, they're looking over you and watching over you. And I like to think of it like kind of a romantic affair. Like, we all got a twin flame. We all got a soul mate. So you might have came down here and had to experience this again, and they might have learned their lesson. But the love was so strong between you two that, listen, baby, I ain't going to let you down. You feel me? I'm going to always have your back. So granted, you know, they watching over you. And that's just a little basic thing with spirit guides. They're companions. And the difference between spirit guides and angels are they had a lifetime here on earth where the angels have not had a lifetime here on earth. The angels just take orders and they make it happen, you know? But it's no hardship in that. It's no patience within that. It's just a snap of the finger. But see, the thing is, they're always trying to communicate to you, and we're going to talk about that towards the numerology aspect. So that is spirit guides. Moving on. We're going to talk about who and what are the Ascended Masters. All right. So, an Ascended Master is a great teacher, healer, or prophet who has lived a human life and who is now in the realm of spirit. An Ascended Master has transcended human limitations and then human limitations. Ascended Masters come from every race, tradition, all religions, culture, and civilizations. Ascended Masters are enlightened spiritual beings who serve as teachers of the human race. They protect, guide, heal, serve, inspire, and teach mankind, and can help us grow and learn in all areas of lives. Ascended Masters help anyone who asks, regardless of their spirituality, religion, lifestyle choice, background, or origin. The Ascended Masters are able to help an infinite number of people simultaneously. I'm glad there ain't no spelling bee word. As they are able to bilocate their energies. The Ascended Masters inspire those who search for a spiritual awareness, upliftment, and guidance. And these are Ascended Masters, so it could become a little bit relative to our thought process. Ascended Masters would be Jesus, Moses, Mary, Buddha, Serpius Bey, Saint Germain, Thoth, a Melchizedek. Trying to figure out some names that look familiar. I'm not about to name all of them. It's a lot of Ascended Masters. Yeah. So basically, an Ascended Master is somebody that's came in this earth and their lifestyle was dedicated to showing the path to righteousness, showing the path to spirituality. And an Ascended Master is what we are all aiming to be. Because in order to leave this earth, we have to live our truths, and within our truths, that's following your path. So when you follow your path, you on default become an Ascended Master. You on default show the way to salvation. You on default show the way to the path of righteousness, and from that you become an Ascended Master. But in order to leave earth, in order to leave the third dimension, to inherit a different vessel, because this is all this is. These are just vehicles for us to operate. Your spirit has to have a vehicle to operate in. You are already a bug. You are already a bacteria. You are already the whale. You are already the bear. You are already the lion. So now your spirit seen an opening to become a human. It needs a vehicle. So all these vehicles and everything, boom, we got that. So now we're in the vehicle, and in order to inherit a higher vehicle, we have to become Ascended Masters. We have to walk in our path. We have to live in our truths. We have to live by the lifestyle. It's one thing to help each other. You can help one another, and it's important to have intentions, because some of us help each other better than others. I would relate this to astrology. Geminis are the best people that can help you. Now, me, myself, I'm a Leo, right? Now, all my intentions may be pure. I might have good intentions to want to help you. But if somebody's telling me they problem, how would I respond? Oh well, Saturn's retrograding, Mercury's retrograding, and this is why you're feeling like that. Even though that may be true, that's not necessarily helping somebody. So I take my hat off to Geminis because they know how to help you. They know they have that mutable about them. And being mutable means that you can place them in any facet in life. You can place them in your neighborhood. You can place them in the politician arena. You can place them in any engagement for any community. And they can stand on their 2 feet and they know how to conduct themselves. They know how to help out. And that right there is very intelligent. That's very smart. So, it's all about intentions at the end of the day. Even though some may do it a little bit better than others, that doesn't take away from your attention. So your attentions can manifest and you can evolve into the Ascended Masters and take on a different vehicle within the 4th, 5th, 6th dimension. It's only 9 dimensions. All right, moving on. Numerology. So your angels are always trying to contact you. And when I mean always, I mean literally always. They're always trying to talk to you. They're always trying to give you advice, let you know what to do, trying to give you guidance. And one thing in Joanne's Sacred Scribes, you can see in her dialogue, you'll see the words they ask, they offer, they suggest. See, the angels know their position. And they know that you're a child of, they know that you're made in God's image. It's the world that wants you to think you're man. It's the world that wants you to think you're mundane creatures and you're just here to produce offspring and procreate. That's one facet of life, but you're here to create, you're here to manifest, and you're here to walk your path and walk in your truth and understand who you are and understand your purpose and why you're here, because we all have a mission. We just don't know what it is at the moment right now. So that's the whole reason of life. We're trying to figure it out. So the thing is this, numerology, a lot of us, we can put a hashtag on anything nowadays. So you can see 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. You're thinking like, yeah, I'm on the right path. And that is true. 11, 11 is on the right path. But what does it mean when you see 11, 12 repeatedly? What does it mean when you see 11, 13 repeatedly? What does it mean when you see 647 repeatedly? 555 repeatedly, 222. I'll let you know, if you ever see 11, 12 repeatedly, that means that not being hindered by old habits that need to be changed. Your angels are real with you. They not going to babysit you. If you're doing something wrong, if you're doing something that need to be changed, they're going to let you know. That's the thing with this realm. That's the thing with the current state of where we're in. We overvalue positivity. We want everything on the silver platter. If it's something that has something to do with self-accountability, something that has something to do with we need to change behaviors, then we take a blind eye to it and we feel like, oh, we're being attacked. But understand that's out of love, because they want you to get out this realm of reality. They say, man, you've been here for about 5 million years. It's about time, get up out of here. Just, we ask that you take our guidance. We offer you our congratulations. And everything is in stride, So when you see that in stride, thank you for the love. When you see that all in stride, and, it's like, okay, I get it. But you got to understand yourself. You got to understand, we're all sensitive. We just display it differently. And that's something I'm personally learning right now. Like, my sensitivity is a little bit more cold. I'm a little bit more resilient when it comes to lashing out, because I understand that hurt people. So with that being said, a lot of us, we may lash out at others, but I would suggest that don't lash out at others, because it's just a spirit about them that's inhibiting them. It might be something within the trauma. It might be something within the mental. It might be a mentality of this. They might be power driven. And a lot of us, we like to have a term narcissism. And narcissism is true. Somebody that, and they have a great video chatting with a narcissist. It's with this white guy and this lady, and she's very informative on that. So, I would suggest, we all, look into that and everything. Basically, a narcissist is just somebody that grew up with not a lot of attention, and everything revolves around them, and they have no capacity to care for somebody, no capacity to really work with anybody. Now, if you care for somebody, or you can work with somebody, even if you can do it at a little degree, you're not a narcissist. You feel me? You just maybe are short-tempered, and you have to work on that. But narcissist is definitely mental illness. They hate people to embarrass them in public. They hate, somebody, if they disagree with them in public, they lash out at them and things of that sort. Like a narcissist hates that. So it's not necessarily a thin line between narcissism and knowing, what's going on. You just have to, peep game, and you have to do your own research and study yourself. But back to numerology. Your angels are always trying to get in contact with you. If you ever feel doubt, if you ever feel fear, if you ever feel the need to just, look at your phone and be like, what's this telling me? Just look into it and you'll find out exactly what it is. So, I challenge you this week, just for the hay of it, just, randomly look down at your phone. It could be 647, it could be 555, it could be whatever number it may be at that time. Look into it. And I would suggest you go to the website, Joanne Sacred Scribes. She tells it how it is. A lot of these websites, they understand that people like the dialogue and conversation on a silver platter. But granted, Joanne, the way she breaks it down, she tells it like it is. If you're in the right, you're in the right. If you need something that needs to be different, she'll tell you what that number means. So then, that's why I go with her, because it's not biased, and being biased, that does more damage than good. So numerology, look into your numerology. I challenge everybody this week. If you ever, feeling doubt, or if you ever feeling good, look into that number and see, and tell me that it doesn't correlate with your feeling. Tell me it doesn't correlate with your circumstance or your situation at that moment. I guarantee it does. All right, we got the big boy going into it. Yeah, y'all see these papers. Y'all see how many papers it is. All right, so we talking about the human history origins. All right, we got this and one more left, and we'll be done. All right, so this is the origins of the human history. I'm gonna need a sip of water for this, cause I ain't gonna run through it, but I ain't gonna drag my feet either. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Kind bars. Them Kind and fruit and nut bars, man. Them joints is popping. I get the apricot and the berry ones. That's what I like. And the vanilla ones, too. All right, so this is the origins of the human history. Here we go. So long ago, humans operated at a high frequency. We were interdimensional and we were psychic. We lived on a string of islands called Lemuria. Now, we rose in consciousness, and Lemuria sank and Atlantis rose. Now, scientists found this all out by the coral, and coral can exist up to 150 feet below water level. And throughout the years, the coral has sank. So, at this time, we were studying spirituality, but World War I began and we lost interest in spirituality. At this time, long ago, there were about 100 humans operating at a high level of consciousness, and they were called the Nakals. They manifested Atlantis through energy meditation through the Kundalini. Your Kundalini is what you see on your chakras, the energy serpent. So whenever you have, the enlightened chakra, you got your throat chakra, you got the eye chakra, you got your heart chakra, you got your middle chakra. That spectrum is called the Kundalini. Every living thing has a Kundalini. The earth has a Kundalini. So wherever the top resides, as far as in the Kundalini within the earth, is where the enlightened spots are on the earth. And this would be the Tibetan mountains. This would be the Himalayan mountains where the monks reside. So the Nakals used the tree of life to administer a migration towards the new Atlantis, and the Lemurians followed. The tree of life has 10 vortexes. 8 were used by the Lemurians, and 2 are open for life. So whenever there's a vortex for life, life is always going to move. It's just like whenever you're in traffic and you move over a lane, say it's a car right here and there's a space for a car to be right here, and you always travel 2 car lengths behind, a car will come in that space, and whether that driver wants to move over in that space or continue driving in that space, it's always going, he'll do so or she'll do so. But wherever there's space, life will inhibit it. So there were 2 vortexes left open for life. And within these vortexes, two extraterrestrial life came to inhabit them. These were the Hebrews and the Martians. So you can look in the Hebrew text, and the Hebrew text even suggests that they're from a different planet, that they're from a different reality, a different realm, right? So they say that, in my observation, in my studying, that Hebrews were from our future, but they were incredibly left brain, aka they knew all the logic, they knew all the science, but little spirituality. And just as well, Martians were from Mars, so the Martians came from Mars. But the Hebrews, they weren't like Martians. And what I mean like Martians, you'll find out what I mean. Hebrews, they were very kind-hearted, they were good people, but they knew all the science, but they didn't know the spirituality aspect. That's just like, we got an atheist that knows the Bible better than the Christian, but he doesn't believe in the spirituality of it. He doesn't believe in the having faith aspect. He sees like, oh well, if I can't see it, then it obviously ain't real. If I can't touch it, but granted, you can't see oxygen, but you breathe every day. You know what I mean? Type of thing. So it's that type of mentality. So Mars a long time ago looked like Earth. And the reason Mars is the way it is because the Lucifer experiment. The Lucifer experiment means Lucifer experiment means cutting yourself or itself off from God, aka the source. So whenever none of us know what it really means to be like alone. Like, you are never alone. God is always with you. But if God, and my grandma says, if you don't listen to your conscience, then God will leave you. But you don't know, you don't want to be alone. You don't want to ever feel that feeling that, like, granted, like, you really out here by yourself. You know what I mean? That's probably one of the worst feelings, the scariest feelings there is. But you ain't never alone. God's always got you. But that's what people put themselves through, and this is called the Lucifer experience. This is saying that, this is like dogma. Like, I'm not listening to anything. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing it my way. Granted, whatever. And you do that because you have to be an individual and things of that sort. But all your intentions is saying that, forget your intentions. If it ain't with me, then it's the highway. No type of diplomacy, no type of tenacity, no type of cooperativeness, no type of engagement. Everything has to be about you when it's on you. Gotta be, everything about you. So they were all left brain too as well, and that's why there was a difference between them too. But it was still a similarity. They were both incredibly left brain. So the reason Mars looks the way it is because they blew the atmosphere away due to the chaos, and the chaos came from the Lucifer experiment. Now, what they did to come and inhabit Earth, they used a Merkaba. Now, all of us, we have a Merkaba, and a Merkaba is a tool for ascension. So we have this within us, right? We're all interdimensional beings, multidimensional beings. So in order to transform, in order to go into the 4th, 6th, 7th, 5th dimension, you have to use the Merkaba. You have to use your Merkaba. And that's through like a type of a heart dance or a type of meditation. Personally, I got to look more into it. I've, just scratched the surface on that. But they built a synthetic Merkaba to come to Earth. And they came to Earth and they did it without asking. They were very unwelcome, right? So to go back to Atlantis Poseidon was a symbol of Atlantis, and it was located on Udal, and Udal was the top of Atlantis, right? So Poseidon basically, in Plato said, I think it was either Plato or Socrates, they said Poseidon bore 10 children. And what they were talking about was the 10 vortexes, the 10 spaces on Atlantis, right? So you have, if you look like, what's that thing that you throw the dart in? Basically that, whatever the thing that you throw the dart, you had the Lemurians on the outside, you had the Mayans a little bit in, and then you had the Nacals within the middle, right? So the Nacals were the priesthood, the Mayans were like the students, and the Lemurian were the people, the citizens. And this was all on Atlantis. And the Poseidon was the symbol for Atlantis, right? So moving on. So the Martians came, and the Martians tried to conquer Atlantis, and it was very unsuccessful. The Atlanteans couldn't send them back, so they agreed to live amongst each other. The Martians were introduced to a lot of left brain inventions. The Martians introduced a lot of left brain inventions, and the Atlanteans slowly became left brain, aka a male dominant species. So the feminine energy is all about receiving. Women receive. They receive your seed. They receive your egg. They receive. They receive. The feminine energy is all about receiving. The masculine energy is all about pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. All right. Masculine divine energy. And let me get some water, man. I'll be getting goddamn. Excuse my language. I get parched. All right. So 13 to 16,000 years ago, there was a great comet that hit Earth. The Atlanteans knew prior and feared this. The Martians wanted to blow it away out the sky with the technology, but the Nacals, which were the most intelligent individuals, knew of its true nature and deemed it to be so, and that it happened. It was all according to the divine plan. So the comet crashed, and the offsprings of it killed a lot of the Martian population. The Martians were highly upset. They went to create another synthetic Merkaba to rule Earth, but failed. That Merkaba tore open lower dimensions, and those spirits inhabited the Atlanteans. The Nacals intervened and sent many of those lower dimensional spirits back to the second and the first dimension. The human race fell from consciousness. Then, after that, the human race fell from consciousness and had 13,000 years to gain Christ consciousness. It takes 100,000 plus years to gain Christ consciousness, and we had to do this in a fraction. So Thoth, Ra, and Amethyra created a Christ consciousness grid. Now Thoth, Ra, and Amethyra are three ascended masters. These are three highly elevated spiritual beings, right? So they created a Christ consciousness grid around the earth, and that's the glow that you see around the earth. They did this fourth dimensionally. So they placed places like Stonehenge. The pyramids were nodes for the grids, and they created this through a unity consciousness. So you see the Stonehenges, you see the pyramid, you see the Gizas, you see the Phoenixes. These are all nodes on the grids, and this grid inhabits Christ consciousness. So they did this artificially. But they created this through the unity consciousness. And we had 13,000 years in order to gain Christ consciousness, or either Earth would be done. And as you see today, we made it. So Egypt and the Sumerians were highly evolved, and they too fell drastically, and it was due to the Great Void. The Great Void wiped out and cleaned all of our knowledge. So we were interdimensional beings. We could see in the past very vividly. We could know where we were in the present, and we can as well look into the future. This Great Void came, and you could read in the Bible. It was a great void. It was a great fall. That void wiped out all of our knowledge of the past and the future and of the present. So before this happened, another great void, the Egypt and the Sumerians in 4500 BC, they were the masters of writing. In 4400 BC, they mastered the water and the moat systems. In 4300 BC, they were the masters of hydraulics. Thoth and his son Tat created a brotherhood called the Tat Brotherhood. Now, the Tat Brotherhood is an alliance formed to protect the Great Pyramid. Thoth and Tat would intervene and show Egyptians how and why to do these things. So 4500 BC, master of writing, Thoth came in and said, this is how you write. 4400 BC, how to master the water and the moat system, Thoth intervened and said, this is how you do this. 4300 BC, the master of hydraulics, Thoth intervened and said, this is how you do this. Moving on. Ooh. So after this, we fell again. And around this time, this is when witchcraft came about. So you had the witchcraft, you had the crucible, you had John Proctor coming around, and a lot of kings were mistaken for gods. And it wasn't until out of the abyss, it was a guy named Akhenaten. Akhenaten. So Akhenaten was the first pharaoh, and pharaoh means that which you will become. Now, Akhenaten abolished all the previous understandings of God and established a one God understanding of everyone. So after 17 years of ruling, Akhenaten was killed. And why was he killed? This is why. The priests were upset because Akhenaten preached that you don't need priests, God is within you. The military was upset because Akhenaten preached that don't attack unless they attack first. The military did not like him, and Egypt had the strongest military at the time. And people didn't like him because they enjoyed worshiping many gods. So after ancient Egypt ended, Thoth brought in a man named Pythagoras. He brought this man Pythagoras into the Great Pyramid and taught him the geometry of the universe, aka the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras and the Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagoras went on to find Greece, teaching geometry and the Platonic souls and all of them. So before Akhenaten was killed, he taught 300 individuals the path to immortality. They were called the Essenes and were recently rediscovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They migrated to Masada, Israel, also known as the capital of the Essene Brotherhood. Within this brotherhood, there were two individuals that we all know, Mary and Joseph. It was in this plan, it was in the Ascended Master's plan to bring in a being that would show the path to Christ consciousness. He would come to earth as a second dimensional being and through his life achieve Christ consciousness and was able to transition because he originally came from a higher level, aka Yahshua ben Hur, or also known as Jesus Christ. So Mary and Joseph made it interdimensionally, and they were physically, Mary could have been a virgin, but interdimensionally they did this fourth dimensionally. Their souls had sex. So this allowed a soul from a higher reality to impregnate her. Jesus went through three important stages: final death, resurrection, and ascension. Now, we all know about Jesus as he was born in Bethlehem in the manger, and then he came back when he was like 30 years old and, administered all these miracles and died on the cross for our sins, as the Bible says. So where was he at in all between this, right? So Jesus in his 10 years went east to the Himalayas and to the Tibetan mountains where he became an enlightened guru. He then came back in his 30s and taught humanity. Now, this is something, the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer is a part of sacred geometry. And I'm going to break it down. From our Father all the way down to lead us not into temptation. So our Father, and this is towards the root chakras. This is to your chakras, sacred geometry. Our Father, right here, universe, who art in heaven, our pineal gland, hallowed be thy name, our throat chakra. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. This is our heart space. Give us our daily bread. This is our karma yoga. Forgive us not as our trespasses. Forgive our trespasses as they trespass against us. This is more so in the abdominal area. Lead us not into temptation. This is the tantric area. So that's your sexual area, your sexual being, your sexual organs. So, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Give us this day our daily bread. But forgive us as our trespasses. Forgive our trespasses as they trespass against us. This is our stomach area. But lead us not, and this is our genitalia area, into temptation, but deliver us from evil. This was a part of the 7 original yogas: the Raja Yoga, the Yantra Yoga, the Mantra Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, the Karma Yoga, the Jnana Yoga, and the Tantric Yoga. I talked about Tantric Yoga once before. It was about Kareza, and this is about semen retention, but having sex through semen retention, and that's about, Kareza, and Kareza means to caress. Basically, it's like a slow type of sex. you're like mating with the woman's body, feeling your body, and for the male, he's practicing on his breathing while doing so. All right. So the Christian religion came from Egyptian religion. The cross came from the Ankh, and the Ankh is basically the circle with the cross and the thing of this. I could draw a picture of it. This is an Ankh, for those who don't know. Basically, that is an Ankh. So the thing is with the Ankh, people would have sex, and sexual energy is so powerful that whenever you orgasm, it shoots through your chakra, through your tantric yoga chakra, shoots all the way out your head, right? Whenever you have an orgasm. The Egyptians knew how powerful sacred sexual energy was, and ankhing would be sending your orgasm, and as soon as it reach your heart chakra, to push it out and make it come back in, and you would utilize that. So it will make your sexual energy 10 times faster. Sexual energy is so important. Semen is so important. It's more important than blood. It's more vital than blood. For men, if you keep on, releasing, you can die. You'll die a lot faster than them guys that don't release it or that retain the semen. And no shame and no guilt in it, because on this channel or on my feed, shame and guilt is at the lowest vibrational level. And we understand how life is, and we understand that, they've been perverting masculinity. Masculinity is perversion. Now it's about, how much money is in your pocket or what kind of status you got, you know what I mean? But, the late, great Pimp C always said, it ain't about what's on you, it's about what's in you. And that is literal in a sense. It's about what's in you at the end of the day. And always remember, when you retain your seed, God judges you by your kidneys. Your kidneys generate your balls, generate your genitalias, aka genitalias, and your genitalias give you strong eyes. In order to get any attraction from, common people or just from, women or anybody for that sort, is through strong eyes and strong testicles. So whenever women look to mate because of survival instincts, they're being led astray, for one, because the knowledge, the information that they're given or that's being pushed out is make sure he got the bag. Now, on paper, you may have her, but subconsciously, you will never have her. Subconsciously, that's why a lot of us go looking out for, aka the alpha male, or try to practice strategies. You don't need a strategy in order to be the best you can be. The only thing you have to do is change your behavior and change certain aspects of your life and move accordingly. So all that, strategies, all that wait 2 days to text a girl, a lot of us, and you got to understand your individual. A lot of us are attracted to each other's darknesses. So girl, she might, the guy, you be like, damn, like, why she fucking with him and not me? I'm a good man, woo woo. A lot of us are attracted to each other's darknesses. And if you ever in a relationship where y'all found each other complaining, or y'all found each other out of the modality of, oh, I hate that about, this, and I hate that about this, and then you decide to change and be like, well, you know what, that ain't too bad, but your partner like, hell nah, that shit is bad. It's like on some doggone, I want to say Bonnie and Clyde. Like, Clyde wanted to give up the life and everything, but Bonnie was like so into it, so he was like, nah, I ain't trying to do this no more. It's like somebody trying to get out the hood. Like, matter of fact, like Ghost and his girl. Like, on Power, matter of fact. It's just like, I'm trying to get out the hood. I want to get out of this life. Man, don't you see me more than this? And the girl like, nah, I ain't never seen you more than this and everything. So y'all attracted to each other darknesses, but at the same token, one want to get out of it, but the other one want to stay back in. So a lot of us, I think, it's wise to be attracted to each other alike, because that's what we all are, and that's what we all going back to. But, no shame and no guilt. Life is all about experiences. Life is all about trial and tribulations and learning yourself again. All right, so to get back to it, we left off at Christian religion came from the Egyptian religion, and the cross came from the Ankh. And the Ankh, that means to put sexual energy back into yourself. Now, in 300 AD, the Council of Nicaea, which is a syndication of the Roman political and the Roman authority, imposed to gain more control over people. And this is through the manifestation of the New Testament. This The New Testament is a makeup of scripture and stories, some old and some new. Now, the term Christ stems before the Bible and derives from Christella, from a word Christella. Christella is a word that derives from the 7 core audible sound tone of creation. Christella. Ka, ra, ya, sa, ta, ha, la. Now, broken down into 2 words, Christ is aka Christ, and Chla is aka Allah. So Christella, you spell Christella Krystla. Christella. All right, and we're about to wrap it up. So currently today, we have 13 families who have monopolized the world to which you see it now. The Illuminati at one point. The Illuminati means enlightened ones. Now, the Illuminati was established a long time ago as a secret society that expanded knowledge through scientific and spiritual understanding. These were a group that kind of got it, all right? So they had to keep secret because of the control the church had. Now, at the time, the church infiltrated these organizations to make sure they didn't have plans to expose the truth and destroy the world as they know it. And this led the churches deeming them as devil worshippers. The original secret society branched off with some joining forces with the church. Now, the original society then decimated and branched off with some joining forces with the church. And that's why the Illuminati today has a bad rap. So this all started back in 300 AD to just revert, and it was through the Council of Nicaea. They seen how powerful knowledge was. They seen the powerful of Thoth. They seen the powerful of the green emerald tablets of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And they said, well, you know what? Doggone, the Roman political and the authority said we need more control over these people. You know what I mean? Well, they got greedy. You know, they starting to see in the infrastructure, and they was like, let's push out different programs to, you know, kind of marginalize and kind of gain more control so we can be, you know, better off. So it was like, in order for, it's like almost like white privilege. I don't feel safe if you're not, you know, being controlled, or you're not being held down, or it's not even white privilege, or just privilege, or just, you know, granted, it's like capitalism. Like, in order for me to be at the top, you got to be at the bottom. So that concludes the human history origins. I know that was a lot. I probably might do that again in the future, but if I don't, you know, you got it here. All right, and the sacrificial lamb, I like to end it off with the sacrificial lamb is really the GOAT. Now, me and my brother, Marcus, we, along with our conversation, Marcus, he was telling me about this book he's reading, and I'm going to get it too as well. And as long as with this other book, one is the 4 Agreements, and the other one is Conversations with God. Now, and shout out to everybody watching the live, man. You know, I couldn't shout y'all all out. I was in, you know, into the lesson and everything, but I appreciate everybody watching in and tuning in, man. Thank y'all. So basically, the sacrificial lamb is really the GOAT. GOAT is an acronym for my season watches. GOAT is an acronym meaning the greatest of all time. A lot of us would call Michael Jordan the GOAT, so we say Michael Jordan's the GOAT. LeBron James is the GOAT. You know, that I don't mean literally as, you know, the animal, like the sacrificial lamb was the GOAT. No, I say the sacrificial lamb was the greatest of all time, and here's why. The sacrificial lamb basically said, you know what? I'm going to demonstrate what it really means to know Christ. Now, me and Marcus, we talked about this, and Marcus, he brought it to my attention. He was like, you know, Malik, people will over here see the relationship that you have with Christ. People will see your relationship that you have with Jesus, and it will entice them and it will allure them in. So you allure them in. So then they see your walk through Christ, and they see that, you know what? How is he getting all this information? How is he getting all these messages and all these signs, but I'm not getting it? You know what I mean? Like, what does he have that I don't have? You feel me? I thought, you know, this was a fair game, an equal playing field, which it is and everything. But the thing is, a lot of people look for things, but they don't listen. That is the main thing that, you know, in spirituality, is that you have to listen. God is not going to, we like to think he's going to speak to us in our ear, be like, oh, why I don't hear him? Or why he ain't, walk up to me and say, this is me. You know what I mean? Christ, or the source, speaks in your spirit. That's how he communicates to you. He communicates through your spirit. He gives you a feeling. He gives you an emotion. He gives you a doctrine. He gives you something that, okay, listen, you need to look into that. And when you look into that, you'll find the answers to your situation. But that's another video. So they'll over here see a path through Christ and everything, and then they see that, you know what, he's getting all this information, why I'm not getting it, and that feeling turns into envy. Now, Jesus went through this. They like, why is he calling himself the Son of Man? How is he able to perform miracles, but I'm not able to perform miracles? So they got envious of him. That envy is turned to jealousy, and from jealousy, they started turning into hate. So now you got a group of people that was enticed by him. They finally start to see how he moved, but they didn't want to be self-accountable for what they needed to do in order to move like that. So they got envious and they got jealous, and that manifested hate. And then from that hate, they over here say, you know what, we got to get rid of this man. We're going to kill him. Now, Marcus introduced it. He expressed to me, he said, Malik, they'll hate all the way till he's on the cross. You feel me? They'll hate and still be jealous until he's on the cross, and they'll kill you. They'll go ahead and end you. And then after the fact, after they end you, they'll start to praise your name. Because on that cross, Jesus was still happy. Jesus was still smiling. And they'd be like, and it riled their spirits up, because it's like, dang, he really knew Christ. He knew Christ all the way to his deathbed. He knew Christ all the way till that we killed him. So now they start to praise your name. They start to give you all the praises. They start to give you all the accolades. They start to over here cherish you more after you're gone. And this is a cycle that we've seen over and over again. We get enticed by somebody's path. We want to follow them. We don't understand why they're getting all this glory and abundance, and we're doing what we're doing, but we're not getting the same thing in return, because AKA we're not listening and we're not following the line within our path. So we get jealous, then we get envious, and then we start to hate to the point we want to kill them. And we're over here, and they know Christ. So they're over here still smiling, and they understand what's going on, and they see what's going to manifest, because they understand how, this thing plays out. So knowing Christ, they'll still smiling everybody, not in everybody's face, but they'll still have that joy. They'll still have that spirit. They'll still have that abundance at them. Even if you nail both hands to the cross, both feet to the cross, it's still like, man, you know what? I still forgive y'all. I still over here, gonna make it. I still, got love for y'all. It is what it is. And they like, man, who do you think you are? And boom, get rid of them, kill them, however that may be. And then they think about it and like, man, that woman really knew Christ. Till their deathbed. And they start to think about it and like, well, you know what? Let's praise his name. Let's like really, take our hats off to him. Let's build a holiday for him. Let's have a religion for him. And that's how this thing all started. We did this with Tupac. Before, people don't ever get their roses while, they're here. But they don't understand, why that is, why they don't get their roses. And it's because, how we express our emotions, because the jealousy, the envy, and the hate. Because, we over here judge other people's path towards our path, but they eggs in the basket is they eggs in the basket. Being self-accountable, you got to understand that you put your eggs in their basket, but your eggs was doggone... Your eggs was from a whole different tree. Your eggs was from a whole different fruit. They basket was made out of twine from a whole different tree from their tree. But you putting your eggs within they twine, and now your eggs got doggone allergic reaction to they twine because it wasn't your twine from your tree. So granted, that's how it happens, you know what I mean? And we don't know how to explain it, so the shame and the guilt part of it is dismissed, because you just feel that hate and the urge and the rage, and at that time you want to express it, and you want them to acknowledge it, and then you want to ratify that. And once you ratify that, that comes out or plays out in death, that comes out in turmoil, that comes out in chaos. And phones falling. But that was one of the many. That's why I say the sacrificial lamb is really the GOAT. So if you're willing to over here lay your life on the line, because granted, people gonna look at your spirituality and be like, well, why did he think he can tell me about this, or why does he think he's so, applicable? Doesn't he know what he used to do? Doesn't she know who she used to be? You know what I mean? So I mean, you gotta walk your path. You gotta walk your path, and what's destined for you in your path is for you. What's deserving in your path is for you. You know what I mean? And can't nobody take that away from you. But you gotta do the work. Straight up, you gotta do the work. You know what I mean? Because God needs us out here to do this work. You know what I mean? So you waiting around, just praying for everything to get better. That's all you're gonna be doing is keep praying for everything to get better. You gotta do the work. So you get what you deserve. If you put the energy out there, everything is relative. Everything has a percentage level. Equality and inequality, man made that up. Everything has a percentage level. We talked about that in the last live. Capitalism, that means to be at the top. Somebody got to be at the bottom. Then you got somebody that says, well, maybe, people should have power too. But not everybody got good intentions, a.k.a. socialism. Socialism goes into, and then somebody introduces, well, shit, let's all be fair. Let's just all get paid the same. So now the garbage man get paid as the same as the doctor, and that's communism. Then they over here get back to valuing each other's jobs different. Well, that doctor should get paid more than that garbage man. Then we're all back to communism. So equality and inequality is both false. The only thing that is real is how much a percentage level do you put into your home, your family life, your personal business affairs, things of that sort. What type of percentage level do you put in? And if you put in, whatever you put in is what you get back. So be a deserving spirit, praying for something and begging for something. Not to say praying is begging, but when you beg, you're going to always keep begging, because that's what the universe is acknowledging, that you like to beg. You're like, well, hell, he liked to beg, so we're going to keep on giving him her circumstances where they can't keep on begging. And they might give you, a leeway once in a while, but you can have that leeway every single day of your life, being abundant, being knowledgeable, and staying prayed up, and staying, and acknowledging, that you have entities out here that's working on behalf for you. That's through numerology. They always send you messages through synchronicity. That's like, listen out to keywords. It was one day where I heard conviction 4 times in my conversations. And right there, when you're spiritually inclined, you be like, oh, okay, I'm peeping game. This is about conviction. Conviction basically is, in the morning, if you say you're going to do something, like I want to do this, that, and the fourth today, you already spoke it out to the universe. So being convicted in it, you do it regardless. And conviction comes with a test too. It's going to be people that stray you off your path. It's going to be people that say that you don't believe in that. Like, I know, not to be like, I ain't racist or anything, but y'all ever recognize that, say, like, okay, just say, like, I recognize that, I've, in my conversation, there's been white individuals, and they do this, and I just do this for edification for my people and everything. Stick to your word. They'll be like, and not they, but those people would be like, say, oh yeah, Charlotte's 2 hours away from Durham. Yeah, no, but you sure? Is Charlotte 2 hours and 30 minutes away from Durham, right? Yeah. That's what I meant to say. What you telling them is that you don't stand on what you say. Granted, you gonna follow them. Always stick to what you say. Stay true to what you know. Stay true to what's true to you. Be convicted. Have conviction. You know what I mean? And that's what it's a test. It's like a little petty test, you feel me? What that tells the antagonist is that, oh, they don't have any conviction. Granted, they're malleable, they ain't standing on nothing. You know what I mean? Always have conviction. It's gonna be entities, people, places, and things like that try to test you and be like, oh, do you really mean what you say, or do you really do what you do? And then granted, they're gonna see. So I mean, it's like, always have conviction. At times, yeah, That does mean be bougie. That does mean be a little aggressive. Or that means to be pleasant, on a higher thought form. You don't have to be bougie. I mean, if that's you, that's you. No shame and no guilt towards you. But, you can be pleasant. You can be applicable. You can be, cooperative and have diplomacy and have some bit of tenacity about yourself and still get your message across with conviction. That wraps it up. All right, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We talked about spirit guides. We talked about the ascended masters. We talked about numerology. We went in depth about the origins of the human history. And we ended it off with the sacrificial lamb is really the GOAT. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Live people tuning in, man. I appreciate that, man. Y'all, I love y'all, man. I straight up love y'all. Thank you. All right. And sorry for the extraness. Not really, but, I know how we can be. But, yeah, man, I appreciate this. I appreciate y'all, tuning in. Like I said, always do not allow anybody to make you feel shame or guilty. Those are two of the lowest vibrational levels. If you don't know, you don't know. But, you can always stay to show thyself approval. You know what I mean? So don't ever let nobody make you feel shame and guilt. They try to use that rhetoric. Don't even listen to it. And understand it's just a spirit about them because they don't know. They don't know either. So, always do what you got to do. And, hope everyone has an awesome week, a prosperous week, a well-off week and everything. Y'all stay prayed up, do what y'all got to do. Live your dream out here, man. Go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. For real. You know what I mean? Ain't no time but now. You know what I mean? And, you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. All right, man. I'm about to get up on out of here. Shout out to the subconscious community. Anybody that's into like astrology, anything, man. There's a live going on right now talking about this new moon in Libra. Going into that, just type in Dolo the Pilot Man. That's DOELOW, DA, and then Pilot Man. He's a great esoteric teacher. As he says, he's urban and everything, so his dialogue, his conversation is very colorful, but at the same token, his message hits home and he knows what he's talking about. Oh, thank you, Floetry. How you doing, man? What's going on? Appreciate you. I'm doing all right, man. Thank you. So, yeah, man. Shoot, a little tired. I had to write a paper today. Aside from that, man, like I said, man, y'all keep up, man, and I love y'all. Straight up. Peace.